Hello everyone, Cepheus here, giving you another cast of Starbow. This time it will be between our handsome Terran friend Wolver, who's made it quite high up in the ESL Cup tournaments. And look at their APM now. Yes, quite high APM as well, spamming very nicely there. And Wolver will be playing against our red Zerg friend in the top right corner, HideR, which I think should be a familiar face in Starbow by now. He's known as HideR Toss on the NA server, and he's the one who played versus Crank in Huskies and Total Biscuit stream. And I think Huskies VOD of HideR playing versus Crank has 125,000 views, probably a lot more than this cast will ever get. So he should be famous from there, becoming a Starbow celebrity. He's going to play Zerg today, which is quite new for him. He's mainly a Terran player, but he likes to play all different races. He is one of the persons who is contributing the most, I think, to balance issues in Starbow and things like that. Him and a couple others are really doing a really good job there. So he likes to play all sorts of races to get the feel of what it's like to play Starbow with different races and different strategies. So it's very good to have him do this for us. Do this for us sounds so weird. He's as much as part of this as I am. Maybe even more. So. We see Wolver going for an early refinery. This could mean one or two things. It could mean early Reapers or mech, or maybe even both. It's possible to just throw one Reaper out there and just throw it on a factory afterwards, because I don't think Reaper requires tech labs these days. One of the reasons I say I don't think is because there's been so many patches. I kind of get it mixed up. I haven't been playing Starbow so much as I have been working on aspects of Starbow, so that's why I'm sometimes a little bit out of date when it comes to which units do need a reactor, I mean a tech lab, and which don't, because we keep changing that. I think these days it's only the medic and the ghost that needs a tech lab. I think both firebats and marauders can be made from the reactor these days, and the reapers, but I might be wrong. So the tech lab is mostly for medics, because you rarely make ghosts. Even though Ghost is a very interesting unit in Starbow, and we see a trademark for Zergs these days is to get the earlier third macro hatch, and this is even before the first queens are out. What I've been seeing more of is making one queen, and then the next 300 minerals you got open, you make a macro hatch. So you have one queen on 3 bases. That's been the way I've seen a lot of Zergs do it, but he's actually opting for the third macro hatch before that queen, and he's finally going to take his gas with a drone who's overly attached to this poor other drone. But it's not good for a drone to be attached to another drone, because all of a sudden they become a building, and now you have like a building attachment, and that's what Terran does with these couldn't you have made an add-on to prove my point? Just stopped me in my wonderful rant there, Wolver. But Wolver is going for double factory opening. I've never seen this before. I usually see like maybe a reactor to get like a couple of early vultures, but 2 factories off of 1 base. He's going to be very aggressive early on. He's not making any marines, and he really doesn't have to. He's going to churn out so many vultures. He's probably going to go for the speed upgrade first, I hope. He doesn't have the minerals for it, but he's made this tech lab for a reason, so hopefully he's going to upgrade something and not just make a siege tank. No, he's getting a vulture, getting way too much gas. He should only have 1 or 2 in gas when you're just going for a vulture opening. You don't really need that much gas income. See if I'm really excited, and he's not making anything off of this tech lab. It's kind of disappointing. You might as well made 1 factory with a reactor instead of 2 factories. Yeah, this is really weird. I feel he's not taking advantage of his early teching. So back in HideR space, he's getting quite the early lair. He's not very concerned about anything, and these very early vultures might do a number on Zerg, because Zerglings do nothing versus vultures, especially when they don't have speed. They haven't even started speed yet. Nope, these are slow, boring Zerglings. Okay, finally, spider mines first. You usually get speed first versus Zerg, because Zerglings don't do mines. You can just have Zerglings detonate mines, and it's not cost efficient, but it's not as cost efficient as it could be. I mean, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, these Zerglings, these are just like poor. They're just being executed. Like, there's no fight. They're just being killed. It's just a slaughter. It's not even funny to watch. We got 5 vultures. See, they're slow. They could have almost been fast by now if you had started the speed upgrade right away, and they could have just slipped right through here so easily if they had speed, but they don't. Oh, Wolver. Okay, I'm not gonna. I need to practice not complaining about players when I cast, but look at their positive sides instead. So I'm gonna try and be better at that. And we see a Spire coming out, and he sees the vultures. Getting the Spire is the perfect response. HideR or Spire play, but I think I prefer Spire play just because it forces out so many Goliaths, and it holds the tank and vulture production so much. And Goliaths are easier to deal with other Zerg units than vultures and tanks. So I really like this choice from HideR. Getting the Karen booster, so I guess he saw the Spire? Yes, scanned the very beginning of the Spire. Nice timely span. He spanned it, yes. Oh, can he pick off a creeper? I thought it was going to go for the queen, but that's one beefy queen, and it's armored, and they do a lot of damage. Oh, we don't have the damage type here in this overlay. Gameheart should fix that somehow. I should get like a custom Gameheart. I can actually, the guy who's, actually this is interesting news, but the guy who's developing, I don't know if he made Gameheart from the scratch, but he's the one who's developing Gameheart Observer interface now. He's actually doing a lot of work for us in Starbow, like with the editor and stuff, so he's really good to have on board. He knows so much about the editor. We have probably some of the best people in this StarCraft 2 editor working for Starbow now, so really happy about that. December's Com has kind of just taught himself the editor through working on Starbow and other projects, and he's now very good, but he's had to go a long way and learn a lot of things. And the guy who is developing Gameheart, his name is Ali. He's really good with the editor. So we have, okay, so he sees the Mutalisks. He knows that he should not be out. They still don't have speed, so these Mutalisks are actually going to catch up a lot of these vultures and probably going to kill a couple of them. In the meantime, though, I think he's getting very secure. Well, he doesn't have a lot of turrets, but he has a lot of Goliaths. But Goliaths are kind of clumpy, and you can circumvent them. But oh, you don't want to. But once you get too close to a lot of Goliaths, man, they can punch so hard with those missiles. Getting a couple of missile turrets up, and I like that because having a lot of missile turrets makes it possible for this Goliath army to actually go and put pressure on Zerg. You don't have to be too afraid of the run-bys. But they have to like come in an orderly fashion. There's no point getting all the missile turrets up if you don't have enough Goliaths to push anyway. Then you can just keep them home for defenses. Wow, they have such a long range with the range upgrade. There's nothing these Mutalisks can do. He's like untouchable with that huge group of Goliaths. Look at that. No siege tanks. Okay, finally a siege tank. Do we have any more? Oh, I can look at here, can't I? For you? No, that's supply. I'm getting used to the Gameheart interface. Sorry, in the meantime, we have a lot of Mutalisks, but not doing too much. The Changelings get to live. No third base from HideR yet, and this is, I don't like this. In Brood War, it might be different in Starbow, but in Brood War, once you have a meching Terran who's kind of immobile and has to sit home because of Mutalisk threats or maybe a HideR contain, you want to take the map, man. You want to double expand or something. Try and do this as safely as possible. But HideR is doing none of that. I think he wants to. I think he's cleared out this. Oh, he's trying to clear out, but there's mines being annoying, and the cleaner bot is not doing his job removing the mines there. This cleaner bot reminds me so much from the guy from Wally. If you see, remember Wally, the little. Yeah, it looks a little bit different, but yeah. Sorry, I digress. So let's look at the tech patterns here. We have roaches incoming. Very interesting versus mech with the burrow upgrade. We have HideRs with their upgrades incoming. Evolution Chamber. HideR's doing all the right things except for expanding. Okay, he's finally expanding as well, which gets spotted right away, and he's gonna. There we go. Wow, he's bringing over here. I think the easiest way to get rid of a mine is to send a Zergling over there. Like, it's worth it to sacrifice a Zergling to get rid of a mine, if it's fast and efficient. I think Wolver could have used this time to push. He's got a lot of missile turrets there. As long as he's really quick about repairing them. I think if HideR saw this force coming, he would not use his Mutalisks offensively. He would need to get them back to defend anyway. And HideR doesn't really have that many units right now. He only has his Mutaflock. He's getting a lot of HideRlisks, and this is the scary part. This push is probably a couple of minutes too late, because by the time he gets there, I think he's going to have so many HideRs out that he should be able to deal with this quite effectively. HideRs and Mutas together are actually quite strong versus Goliaths. Only Mutalisks will not do a number on Goliaths unless you have a critical amount, of course. In which, if you have a critical amount, they actually do really well versus Goliaths, especially in Brood War. They did really well. Like, Goliaths were in no way a direct counter to Mutalisks. You needed a lot of them for it to work. And here comes the push. I think HideR's a little bit unaware of this. No, he's not anymore. He sees it with the creep. Nice creep spread from HideR. And not enough units at all to hold this big of a group. So he's really going to need to bring his Mutalisks home. And he wants to synchronize the attack. He wants to pull back and try and snipe the siege tanks. Okay, there we go. This siege tank is definitely going to get sniped. But, ooh, it's going to lose a couple of Mutalisks as well. Loses 2 Mutalisks. Nice, going for us around here. It's a really good position for HideR, but it's just not enough units. He can't really touch this force. But he can whittle it down. And this Starbow units kind of come in waves. No, not in waves. They kind of come in more like a trinkle. So you send in one unit, and you send another one, and they can come in like that, and they can whittle down and whittle down and whittle down. Since the reinforcements route is so long, these units are still so slow, you can hold off a push like that. It's not very cost efficient, but you can hold it. Because you don't have the instant reinforcements here in the same way. Well, I guess it's only Protoss in StarCraft 2 who has instant reinforcements. Poor SCV. Oh, nice. Gonna catch a group of vultures, and still no vulture speed. Finally get starting that ion thrusters, and that used to take longer to research, I think, but still 96 seconds is quite a lot of time. Ooh, gonna see the cleaning bot. He has a lot of work ahead of him. There's a lot of creep over there, and he's not gonna go in there. Well, there's no juicy drones, so I guess he wants to wait for that. Wolver getting a base in the meantime, though, and I feel kind of Wolver is ahead here. Yes, he lost his group, but he traded quite cost effectively. I don't think there's a lot of Mutalisks left at all, to be honest. There's no Mutalisks left, so he doesn't have that to worry about. He can make all tanks and vultures now. Ooh, got a couple of those new great mines going off here. Oh, wow, you can, if you actually put the Hydralisk first in A move, if you have a big enough group of Hydras, they just DPS down the mines, even as long as they have speed and range, even without an overseer. But when you have the Zerglings in front that starts to activate the mine earlier, then that becomes a little bit more difficult, especially with the roaches. So not the best way of clearing out minefields. I like how Wolver is keeping tabs on all the bases except for these ones, but he should probably be going over there soon. And the ion thrusters has been upgraded, and now we have super fast vultures which can do a lot of damage. But not a lot of stuff to kill here yet. Vultures don't really do well against buildings, and nice HideR catching a couple of vultures off guard and snatching them off. In the meantime, though, Wolver getting into this base, planting them some mines and killing some drones. A lot of defenses here, though. He's going to get the drones, but he's going to lose a lot of vultures as well. And even though the drones may seem more important in Starbow because they collect more minerals, since not too many drones are needed to saturate, you can easily just transfer a couple from another base and almost have the same income rate. So that's a good thing. Oh, these Overlords. If this Overlord survives... Yeah, there's no way that Overlord survives. He thought it was a lot of siege tanks up here, so he was going to bomb him, and there was Goliaths instead, so that was kind of a misjudgment from HideR, I guess. So Wolver seems to stabilize on 3 bases. I don't think HideR can touch this base. HideR seems to stabilize on 4 bases, so we have a 3-base tower and a 4-base Zerg. It's quite a normal mid-game scenario. Ooh, yes! Look at that mine! It's acting just like Brood War, derping and following, and going all the way back again. No, they didn't go all the way back again. They just landed down here in Brood War, I think. So that's a little bit different. We don't have to replicate all the weird mine movements of Brood War. Of course, some of that stuff was kind of random and probably not too intended as well. But it's kind of fun to see it like droop, 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 like it did in Brood War. Man, December's Calm, you're awesome with the editor. He's the guy who made the new mine. We have a lot of macro hatchets, which I like. If he's not producing out of all his larvae, so he can keep on these macro hatchets. He'll probably add another one soon. You need a lot. I've heard like 1.5 hatches per base. I think it's even more, to be honest. Especially if you're not like solid on your creep inject. I mean your queen inject, and most Starbow players are not too good with injects because they're usually old Brood War players, and we're not used to injecting. I say we because I'm also mostly a Brood War player. At least I consider myself a Brood War player, but yeah, enough about me. Oh, that was a poorly placed mine. He just circumvented that. I really, really do not want HideR to attack. And he's going to do it. No, good. And HideR is playing very smart. If Terran is not pushing, there's no need to attack this. Attacking this is suicide. It's begging to lose. Like, he has 3 bases. You have 6 bases, and he can't touch you. Yes, you park your army right out here. You make sure that you delay any push for as long as possible, and you make sure you don't lose any units, like hold position maybe out here. So you can park out here, you're fine. And maybe park a couple units out there, make sure he doesn't go for a run by. and then you take the map, and then you take up to Defilers and Ultralisks, and that's how you play versus mech, in my opinion. Maybe get some Guardians, because he doesn't have a lot of science vessels. He's using all his gas on siege tanks. Wolver has a lot of gas, though. Where are his... Okay, there. It's only one starport, and it's not making anything. So yeah, Guardians would actually be really good now. But Guardians only last for so long, until he realizes that there's Guardians out, and you can make counters to Guardians quite quickly. Especially if you have a couple of starports. So, they're not like Broodlords, which are almost uncounterable. So, Wolver taking this opportunity to push out, he pulled HideR back to this base, and pushed out with his main army in the meantime. It was a very good armor maneuver that I kind of missed a little bit, so I'm sorry about that. We have a lot of roaches and hydras, and he really needs to add something else to his composition. Getting a lot of more roaches, it seems. He really favors roaches versus mech. I'm not sure if they're as good versus... I'm going to say as good versus mech as they are in StarCraft 2. I guess roaches aren't really that good against siege tanks, but they're pretty good against Hellions, so that would... But, you know, hydras are also good against vultures, so... Yes, and I didn't mean to say Hellions. I was comparing Hellions to vultures, which I probably shouldn't do. Anyway, Wolver is going to start shooting away at this base. He's not going to go up, but HideR can just take this side of the map in the meantime. It doesn't really matter that much for him. That's the beauty of Surgan expanding in 2 areas, and I love this from HideR. He's not trying to defend this. He's going for counterattack instead. This is exactly how you fight mech. You just avoid the army because it's so immobile. A lot of mines in front. He really should have his hydras in front. He needs to burrow. There we go. He needs to burrow under. Do they? I think they actually go off on burrowed. Oh, he scanned. That's why they go off on burrowed roaches, because he has the detection there. But I really like this, trying to breach in, trying to set himself on top of the production. Look at that siege tank surviving so many shots on the high ground there because of the miss, 50% miss chance. He's gonna bring his whole army back home. You know, he cannot continue his push. Sure, HideR's gonna lose his army eventually, but he did some damage, and he can repopulate in the meantime. This isn't exactly how you should play versus mech. I see so many players that are just attacking straight into siege lines instead of trying to just circumvent the army and just work around it. Work at the, you know, the vastness of the map in your favor. Mech cannot be everywhere at once. And I like this, sneaking in a couple of roaches here, trying to do some damage on the mineral line. But that siege tank is probably going to get it, yeah. So right now we have HideR in a really poor position because he doesn't have that many units, but he's getting the units that he need, the upgrades that he need. And I like this. He's getting the ultras. There's not too many mines and vultures out. Mines and vultures do better versus ultras than tanks do, actually, because ultras eat up all the damage from the mines, while the mines usually overkill a unit. It doesn't usually overkill an ultralisk, so they're very cost effective against ultralisks. And we see, I don't know if I like this, just throwing a lot of zerglings at the army. Oh, but he's dropping zerglings at the same time too. He's not going to be able to kill much, but he's going to be able to damage much. And here we go, a couple of scourges. Unfortunately they get hit, but I like that he's trying to make them, you know, make sure that the number of science vessels are not too big. And Wolver is unsieged, and he could pick off a couple of wow. Oh, that went not so good for HideR. Just losing lots of units. He's finally getting this base up and running. He's also denying this base is never going to get taken by anyone. And I really want HideR to just throw down a hatchery there, but it doesn't really have the money to do that right now. He likes his changelings in his army. And right now it seems like HideR do want to not circumvent the army, but do fight it head on. And that tank reinforcement, look at that, it's incredible. And here we go, big line of siege tanks, Ultralisk in the front. He's got some Zerglings in the Overlords. I don't think HideR has enough to deal with this, but he's trying. He wants to whittle down the numbers. When the reinforcements come, though, this will be the end for this push. Okay, oh, sorry, I didn't see it. There was more stuff over here. There's stuff everywhere. But okay, so he managed to like stop the push a little bit. What happened to the cleaning bot? Oh, it's just stuck on the ramp. Never mind. I thought it was like, thought someone had like hurt the cleaning bot. That would have been sad. Okay, so he's transferring more drones down here, which is nice. Yes, finally taking this base as well. He could even take this base, I think. And he's gonna slowly lose this base. I was gonna say it's getting mined out, but it really isn't. It's only like halfway mined out, so that will be a victory for Wolver if he can get that. HideR really fighting from behind her. If you look at the supply, there's a huge difference. So again, yes, he has to just circumvent the army. I feel Wolver could just unsiege and go and kill HideR right now. He's getting consumed, he's getting defilers. If he can just get his tech up, he might stand a chance here, but he's really fighting from behind, I feel. HideR, that is. Trying to get the reinforcements and just, you know, just getting on top of the production versus any Terran, versus any race, is just really good. Sending a group of Zerglings over here, I like it. Because this is sure well defended, but this isn't. Well, only 3 Zerglings. It's not going to cut it, though. but a small group working away. Oh, he's gonna kill a natural, and he hasn't even killed this base yet. Mech is so slow, and he's been able to hold off with that. I think those was Zerglings from that Overlord, and he's getting into the production here. Maybe he can get an upgrade. That would be awesome. Well, there's a siege tank here though, but that's not gonna last for too long. And he has to bring his whole army of siege tanks back. I love how HideR is fighting this. I would have been dead a long time ago versus Wolver if I would have been in the same position trying to fight his army head on. And I like how HideR is circumventing the army all the time. Okay, you're gonna get some vultures in here, but that's 4 spine crawlers, and that's gotta be hard to get. Vultures are not good versus buildings. Poke, poke, yeah. They're gonna look at that. They do nothing. They just tickle these spine crawlers. They have 300 HP. I think that might be more than in StarCraft 2. I don't really know. Okay, the army from Wolver coming back. Oh, I was gonna say he saved the. I was gonna say that he saved the armory, but at that time that he saved the armory, it died, so he didn't. And we're gonna have a lot of burning buildings there. That if he doesn't repair them, he's gonna lose a tech lab and a fusion core, which is quite important for making science vessels and getting the upgrades. Ooh, don't want to clear out mines with ultralisks. Very, very bad. So HideR's gonna lose some ultralisks here, it seems. Oh, Wolver getting over to the minefield. I think that was not very intended, but here's a huge minefield. That's just gonna, oh man, eat the ultralisks apart. 10 HP ultralisk. Okay, wow, yeah, like I said, no one's gonna ever be able to mine from this base. That's a lot of mines. Wow, they do a surprising small amount of damage, but they still are worth it, to be honest. Like, I see some people comparing spider mines to widow mines, so that's a really bad comparison when you think about the cost. You get 3 spider mines for 75 minerals with the vulture. That's a crazy cheap. There's no way they should do the same amount of damage or be as cost effective. Oh, damaging the vulture is almost more than the ultralisk there. But yeah, Wolver cleans up this small force. He should be able to mine from this base again. At the same time, he's pushing HideR's third again. But HideR doesn't really care that much about this base anymore because he's taking the rest of the map. And Wolver has kind of missed that, I feel. Yes, well, he knows about this base now, but I don't think he's known about it for too long. Or he's just not caring too much about it. And again, the circling run by, you know, this very hollowed out base from Wolver, which is his main base. Oh, they're just doing a friendly dance. They're like, nope, let's not fight today. They're like, okay. Oh, so looked like he was targeting his own SCVs. Okay, but here we go. And this group of Zerglings might actually do something. This is a tad more than we had. Oh, he's pulling out all his SCVs for this small group of Zerglings. I think they could have fought and killed them and still lost about the same amount. I think this base is finally going to go down, though. So, crazy game. Tons of things happening. These SCVs, these Zerglings won't be able to do much once they get into the range of the mines. In the meantime, these bases have been uncontested, and that might be the fall of Wolver. Like, of course, he's still ahead. He's ahead in supply. He's doing well, but HideR, these bases are keeping HideR alive, and he's finally adding the defilers. That tech has been up for a while, and I haven't seen many of them. He needs to get a ton of Zerglings and start using Dark Swarm and maybe even Plague to some effect. I like plaguing mech because they can't heal as easily as bio can. So here we go, let's get some good Dark Swarms up. And there we go, that's pretty good. I want to have it a little bit closer, but you can just one Dark Storm to get more Dark Storms. Oh, he doesn't have the energy, and he's going to lose some defilers to these vultures. No, yes he is. But they actually almost killed himself. And actually HideR holding this with quite ease. I'm not going to say this is the whole push because, well, maybe it was. Never mind. Whoa, in the meantime, Wu wants to split the map and take this part. And a split map situation is never good for the Zerg player. But this isn't really a true split map because the bases in the middle, this one and this one, is mostly HideR's at the moment, even though this one is not really anyone's at the moment. So we'll have to see. If HideR can hold these two bases, then the split map, I think, will be in his favor. So many mines, but Ultra is just eating the mines now. He really needs to get a Dark Swarm up to protect his defilers. Because you don't want them picked off by vultures, and they will get... Okay, there we go. Just get in there and hold position. Protect me from... Okay, getting some more reinforcements here. We're going to try and target down the defilers. And he's going to get a couple. He really needs to get into the swarm. Okay, there we go. Kind of forcing out to waste some swarms, though, which is also a good tactic. Some HideR lists back in production. I like that. If you place the swarm right, like not on top, but be in front of the mech army, HideR lists are quite effective in there. And especially the lurkers, but lurkers are just not as effective versus mech in general. What's the income like? Yeah, that's what I thought. Wolver is kind of low on the income tab here. He doesn't have that many harvesters. He doesn't really have that many bases. He could actually re-expand his national, but no, that's actually almost not worth it. But he should get an orbital over here. That'd definitely be good. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like this a lot. Oh, even bringing 3 defilers, that's kind of maybe one too many. A couple might have done it, but there's even not a base here to kill. But there's some production facilities. There's some siege tanks he can dark swarm on top of. I like how he protects the defiler in the Overlord. He really needs to get... Ooh, nice. Doesn't activate it after all. Yeah, he needs some fighting units now. Just defilers won't cut it. Forcing Wolver to pull back a lot of his army. Giving HideR some room to breathe and even to push out. He sees the opportunity, knowing that he will pull back some units. He needs to get them back into the Overlords. And he really needs to get out of there before the Goliaths come and kill the Overlords. And he's fine because the Goliaths are derping, following the great traditions from Brood War. Yes, getting some defenses here. HideR is clawing his way back into this game. I felt this was Wolver's game a couple of minutes ago. And by a couple, I mean maybe like 10 or 15. But still, this queen has been all over the place. But it's coming back into HideR's favor. And he's not done with draw play yet. And see, he made a nice line of missile turrets, but he kind of left this part open, which is not too good. But he's going to fool us with spider mines instead. And here comes Goliath to the party. If he can get some Dark Swarm up, he's fine. There we go. And if he can also plague these units, that would be sick. But he's not doing that. It's only like not a lot of DPS in this cloud. Let's put it that way. This HideR is going to survive a lot of stuff, but they're not going to do a lot of damage. And neither are these defilers. Oh well. Failed attempt, but kudos for a good attempt. Is that a misplaced hatchery? Yes, that should have been over here. Oh well, it's not that much mining left. More room for defenses in between here. So this game it's slowing down a little bit. Wolver just wants to have this base and this economy for a while. I feel him switching to like maybe battle cruisers or like a big batch of banshees. Banshee Viking perhaps would be really good in this game now. Switching that around, he could be more mobile and he could have like a stronger force to push around with. I also like this, you know, trying to whittle down HideR's incredible economy, protective Dark Swarm. Oh, the mines go off though and kills one of the defilers. Mines do not care about Dark Swarm. And he needs to just get a couple more spine crawlers up here and he should be fine actually. Ooh, very bad time to rally drones out of your mineral line. Just gonna get picked off. In the meantime though, wow, these small circling drops are doing a lot of damage. He doesn't have almost any workers left on this base. These poor spider-mines are killing his own workers. And let's sacrifice another drone to the vulture gods. Getting a lot of vultures in here. Oh, but there's an ultralisk ready to defend. Now that can do some damage, especially versus these very damaged. And I like getting the spine crawlers in the mineral lines there. Not a lot you can do versus that with just vultures. And more draw play. He's gonna bomb some of these siege tanks, but there's a lot of Goliaths here. I don't know if he's gonna get anyone off. But he unsieges in preparation for this, and yeah, this is not gonna do too much, I think. Nope. Nothing at all, actually, to be honest. And very boldly attacking this huge army with just a tiny army, but he's getting up Dark Swarm. He can do some damage in the Dark Swarm, but it's very, very slowly whittling down. Trying to avoid the siege tanks and just kill the lighter units, which I think is a good idea. Man, my voice is going to give away. This game is so long, and there's a lot of stuff happening. So we have, okay, just some spider mines. Sorry, I thought there was some units there, but fine. Okay, Wolver decides to push now. HideR has kind of gotten the better end of the split map situation, and he has more mining bases as well. So I guess Wolver, I like this. I really like this position from Wolver, trying just to take this ridge right here, which kind of automatically gives him access to this base. But HideR is ready for a flank here. He's actually dropping units on the high. No, he's going into the base. That's not going to work. But he's, oh, not okay. There we go. Sorry, here goes the flank. Let me get all this on camera. I can't get all this on camera. There we go. Okay, sorry, that was too late. But yeah, cleans it up. In the meantime, we got a couple of ultralisks over here. Sorry, I need to get better with these hotkeys for observing. Gets an ultralisk with a Spider-Man, always a good trade. In the meantime, though, HideR, is he gonna try and go for the main base again? He has moved some of his production over here, but most of his production is still in his main base, and HideR has quite easy access to his main base. In the meantime, we have the really, really slow push, again killing this base. He really wants to get this base back. I like this active creep tumor over here. Yes, it's gonna do a lot of havoc. Trying to get a buddy out before he gets killed. More ultralisks, more defilers, seems what he's sticking with. I would have liked to have seen a couple of guardians, just to mix it up, add some air DPS. There's not a lot of Goliaths left, and there's not a lot of science vessels either, so I think not like a huge Guardian transition, but just getting like 6 or 7 Guardians to go with your army, or maybe just harass over here or something, would have been really good. Or actually Guardians up here and shoot over here would have been awesome with their long range. He's even creeping up this base. There's not much left to do in this base though, but it's been very, very slowly mining out because the worker count has just dwindled very slowly. HideR's gearing up to get some more units, it seems. Zergling Ultra Defiler is his weapon of choice. I think when it comes to not fully upgraded. I think yes, the armory died and he never bothered to make the last upgrade. That's might bite him. We got 3-3 all the way. We got fully upgraded Surgami. Oh, and here we go. Huge engagement. Losing all the Zerglings right away. Getting some Darkstorms up for the HideRs and the Ultralisks, but not the best engagements from HideR, I feel. It's really difficult to fight Zerglings versus that many siege tanks, but these Dark Swarms are proving very effective with these Ultralisks, actually. With the Ultralisks, I sounded very Norwegian there, didn't I? But this hatchery has gone down, but he's, whittling down the forces. Ooh, unsieges at an unfavorable time, exactly as these HideRs are coming, and bam, HideR's gone, yeah. It's so fast. Siege tanks are so strong. Nice. I like how he's splitting the units, trying to send some Zerglings here and some Zerglings here. Actually kill a lot of siege tanks with these Zerglings. If he just keeps throwing away Zerglings at this army, he might just whittle it down because there's so few siege tanks left. Wow! That one shot just killed all the Zerglings. That's crazy. Throwing Ultralisk away, though, is not that best of idea. And here we got a lot of Goliaths coming back. I think they just moved from over here. I don't think he's made that many Goliaths lately. I've been trying to keep attention at the production tab. He's making another command center. I can only imagine that's for this base, but it's almost mined out. Okay, no, it's not all. It's more than halfway mined out, and he's creeping it up really good. I love it. These mines have just stayed very active. So, Wolver is slowly pushing his way across the map, but his army is also slowly getting smaller and smaller, so his push is getting closer, but it's not getting stronger, so I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything. And wow, that's a bold expansion. I don't think that's going to last for too long. If he gets this expansion up, then that would be crazy. Okay, then, yeah. And here we go, more Zergling bombs, but that's too many Goliaths for Zergling bombs right now. Yep. There's no point bombing vultures. Yeah, this is not going to do anything. HideR's actually ahead in supply now. I guess it's mostly because of the Ultralisks. Every time I see a Zerg player go Ultralisk, his supply just skyrockets. Very supply heavy units. He should get some. He has some HideRlisks. I like that for the vultures, because the vultures can kite Ultras and Zerglings all day long, pretty much. And mines do a lot of damage to Ultralisks as well. So no. Come back, tiny Ultralisks. Look at how small they are. They're more like Zerg units. They're small and agile and fighting and buff, which is not very Zergy, but yeah. They need one buff unit, and they have the Ultralisk. The Roaches aren't really that buff in Starbow. He's not been able to expand here. There's so much creep. Sorry, I should look at the actual engagements. And again, like I said, Wolver's getting closer and closer, repositioning himself all the time, and his push has become a lot stronger now, but so has HideR's army, and HideR's going to try and walk around. No, he's going to load a lot into the Overlords. I really don't agree with this, because there's so many Goliaths. Maybe not anymore. Poor HideRlisk. Okay, yeah, so if he attacks with the Ultras first, and then these come in just slightly behind, but not really too far behind, or else all the Ultras will be dead. That's not the way to do it. Is he going to trigger an attack? No, he's going to trigger a retreat, and these poor defilers are going to get... They're going to get dead. That's great use of the English language. As dead as they can get. He should drop right now. This drop play has really proven ineffective for HideR, I feel. It was really nice to deal with expansions, but dealing with the actual pushes, it's just been too many Goliaths on the map for that. Sorry, this is just hilarious. And so is this. Creep denying so much stuff. And HideR G's finally out of this game. Not really sure why right now, but I guess he just saw this army and it was just too much for me. I didn't have really any army left. He had the economy. Yes, he did have much more economy. He had the income and he had the production and the tech to deal with this. He just didn't have the army at the time, and I guess he was just tired from this game. But But yeah, really exciting game. Wolver just clawing his way to victory, and HideR never able to make that big comeback. But a lot of back and forth. Thank you a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this game. If you want to play Starbow, go to the NA or the EU or the C server, and hopefully soon the Korean server, and just type Starbow. Join the Starbow chat to find opponents. Hopefully we're really close to getting a ladder system out, and soon you can start to get some ranking and points for Starbow. So thank you for watching. Take care.